Okay, next is Vasil Hlinka. Forgive me if I've mispronounced the name.
Vasil, yeah, that's fine.
Vasil, okay. Welcome, and the floor is yours.
Great. Well, thank you, Chairman Vitale, Vice Chair Kick, and the rest of the committee for allowing me the opportunity to provide the testimony. I am the CEO of a small, early-stage technology company, Wearability Technologies, based here in Columbus, Ohio. We're looking to commercialize some of the great research coming out of Ohio State University. In particular, we have been developing a novel semiconductor battery cell that makes use of a radioisotope similar to what you would find in an ionizing smoke detector to deliver electric power for a very long time and in rough, austere environments. Additionally, we have demonstrated a new radiation-resistant semiconductor detector for use in monitoring nuclear reactor cores, what actually is going on inside the reaction, inside the core of the reactor. Something called a smart neutron flux detector array, quite a mouthful. The purpose of the new smart detector array would be to improve nuclear reactor operation efficiency and ultimately cut operation and maintenance costs, something called O&M costs, as well as improve safety. My background, though, is not in the nuclear industry. Prior to starting the company, I had fairly negative opinion of the nuclear industry, in fact. This changed very quickly when the company first began exploring the available research that's been done in the nuclear field. It was eye-opening just how much research has been completed and simply left sitting on the shelf, at least in terms of the U.S. power fleet. Through the efforts with the company, I have found that there's enormous untapped technical potential in the nuclear field. This technical potential promises to solve all the historical ills that I, as a private citizen, had been led to believe were absolutes in terms of power, nuclear power. By tapping this technical potential, we can develop new nuclear power systems that cannot melt down, cannot explode, would implement something called a 100% closed loop cycle, no need for offsite storage, something that I had been led to believe was a big problem. I think we were going to store it in caves. Via recycling that some of the gentlemen talked about, creative uses for some of the spent materials. A couple more examples, this notion of very pricey. There's no reason we cannot build cheap and operate cheaply using the very latest in 3D printing, very small, fully or semi-autonomous reactor arrays or grids, possibly. Use novel fuel sources and fuel materials that are completely safe to handle in some cases prior to deployment and easy to manufacture. And use fuel that cannot be used as nuclear weapons. These are all targets, possible promises of nuclear that I have learned are possible through technology. Even to a relative newcomer to the industry such as me, it became very apparent that nuclear power was the real answer to clean, reliable, and affordable power. What I also quickly learned was that China, Russia, and France, just to name a few, are spending much more time, effort, and money trying to tap that potential, certainly more than the U.S. In our efforts as a company to find commercial demand for some of our technologies, we've been frustrated to discover that the only sales activity, people spending money, involving our technologies are centered in Europe or the Far East, China, and so forth. Finally, in pursuit of technology, research, and development funding, our company has been engaged with NASA. And as part of that engagement, we have come to learn that NASA's apparent long-standing aversion to things called nuclear or nuclear power or labeled nuclear seems to have passed. They clearly have recognized the value that nuclear power offers their varied space programs in terms of both vehicle propulsion and future-based power. I mean, clearly there's advantages, and I won't belabor that point. The above basically, or the previous content, was my attempt to provide some context for the point of my testimony, that being really a call to action. Some of my other folks who preceded me did that as well. From my vantage point, the nuclear field is poised for a major resurgence. This resurgence will offer many economic benefits to the companies and associated communities that choose to invest in those technologies. House Bill 104 represents an opportunity for Ohio to become one of those communities. From my experience in the computer and computer software fields, I have come to appreciate the value of innovation, true innovation, and agility, especially agility, towards successful development of successful products. Empowering varied technical groups on large system development efforts invariably results in a product that better meets the needs of the consumer, takes less time and investment to develop, and ultimately is a far more successful product than developing something with that's heavily centralized command and control structure. And that was something that was in the industry that when I started, it changed over time to now where everyone speaks of agile and lean organizations. That was not the case, and the benefits were enormous. House Bill 104 seeks to reintroduce some of that agility to the nuclear power industry. I mentioned previously that technology, the nuclear community has its sight on the answers to the historical ills that face the industry. What stands in the way is not technical, but rather regulatory and organizational. House Bill 104 rightly focuses on these issues, allowing the nuclear industry to learn and from successes in other industries related to lean and agile processes and organizations is a critical step to ultimate success of the industry resurgence. An optimized regulatory environment is a must to open the floodgates of pent-up technological innovation and the associated commercial development. Passage of legislation such as House Bill 104 will allow Ohio to take an important step toward that optimized regulatory environment. So in conclusion, as a citizen of the U.S. and Ohio, I ask you to pass House Bill 104 to help enable the development of the next generation of clean, reliable, and abundant electric power. As a small business owner, I ask you to pass House Bill 104 to remove a critical barrier to our company's growth, allowing us to provide new and high-tech jobs for Ohio. And that's my testimony. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for coming today. Does the committee have any questions?
Great.
Okay, seeing none, thank you.